thing that's great about Britain. This is the country that invented football, rugby, the TV, the telephone, and revolutionised popular music.
Penicillin as well.
Penicillin as well. And he's on it, and I'll tell you he's in a minute. But if you could choose, what would you say was the one thing that defines our nation? Here, representing England, is the author of Gaunty's Best of British, John Gaunt. Speaking for Scotland, it's Kay Adams. Warbling for Wales, it's TV critic Jackie Stephen. And on behalf of Northern Ireland, comedian Frank Carson. Well, there you are, John. You're celebrating the best of it. It's nice to have it talked at the top of the programme about everything going wrong, that we have got a lot that's worth, you know, fighting for and living here for, haven't we, really?
Well, what I want to do is I want to write a book which basically talks about what's wrong with Britain at the moment, but also to celebrate what's great about this country, because I still think it's the greatest country in the world. And I think we're stronger by our union. You know, the separate parts, England, Scotland, Northern Ireland and Wales, makes us what we are. We can all be massively proud of being English or Scottish, but the one thing that unites us is British. Yes. And we should be really proud of being British.
Jackie, you're Welsh. Do you call yourself British or Welsh? Because as English, we're not meant to say English, we're meant to say...
Well, I call myself a European, because I spent quite a lot of time in France. Oh, and I think it's really
Hold on, there's nothing wrong with being a foreigner.
Well, the best thing about Wales is that water that separates me from you, which is brilliant.
Yeah, you charge us to come into it, though, but you come out for free, don't you?
That's right,
There's
yes.
something there
and I'm sure we're bigger than that, you know. I'm sure that Cornwall's not that big compared to
you talk
Wales.
louder.
The one thing I love about Wales is when I was travelling through there, the police stopped me for speeding, and he said, "Where do you come from?" I said, "Clonvar, put Quinn get go get it, Gwendrobal, Clonfilio, go go go." The policeman couldn't spell it. And if I'm quite honest, neither could I. Can you say that?
Yeah.
Go on, let me hear you say that.
Llanfair pwch gwingich gwgerach Gwendrobal Llanfilio go go go. And I can spell it.
Hey, Frank.
Not bad for Europeans.
Go on, John.
Frank, quit while you're losing. Quit while you're losing, mate.
Hold on,
She's a clever one.
I hate your newspaper.
Do you?
The crosswords are bloody awful. There was a crossword yesterday. I couldn't believe it. Flightless bird found in Iceland. 7 and 8. Frozen chicken.
Okay, rescue me from this mayhem. So, Scots, you know, Scots, Frank, fingers on lips for a minute. Scots always going on about devolution. I mean, do you still feel happy to be British and happy to be allied to us, as it were, down here?
I am very happy to be British. Yeah, no, absolutely.
Where are you from? Where are you from?
I'm from Glasgow.
I can tell you what, she actually meant that.
No, I'd have used this hand if I'd meant it. Yeah.
Well,
Glasgow is a very wonderful city, one of the most beautiful cities in the world, and it's always a great pleasure to go up there and leave it.
John, you're allowed then one thing that you think personifies England. We'll split you up now. So England's your country. So what are you going to have that is your iconic image of England?
Well, I find it hard to think of anything that was just purely English, because, you know, you can start talking about buildings or inventions, and then you find out the Scottish people invented them or whatever. So I came up with something which, you know, as a kid I really wanted, which was a Jaguar motor car, because it's made by English craftsmen. Of course, though, again, it goes back to this union thing I was talking about, and about the fact that we're Great Britain, is the fact that, you know, the latest Jags have all been designed by a Scottishman. Built by English people, designed by Scotsmen. And I don't think that matters. All I think it matters is that we all get behind the red, white and blue.
I love the fact that they've given you an old Jaguar XK. Now, you see, that is a connoisseur's Jaguar.
I like that.
Real British Jaguar.
That is very nice.
OK.
What about going to Colchester for the 1st and 2nd Battalion of the Parachute Regiment, of which I...
Is that your little pin? Very
yes,
good.
I am, yes. I'm a member of the Parachute Regiment.
OK.
And we've lost a few of our lads out in Iran, and let's bring them back.
OK, we will do that. In one piece, certainly. We know not when, but in one piece. Kay, up top there, you're allowed. What's your iconic Scottish?
Well, I mean, if you'd asked me a year ago, I might have said politicians and bankers. But now I'm going to fight shy of that one, because that's not going so well, is it? So I'm going to go...
Politicians and wankers.
No.
No.
Sorry
I'm
about
afraid
that.
we can't say words like that on the programme.
My apologies.
We can talk about Hilary Swank, but that's about as far as we can go.
Right, go on.
I'm going to go for the picture of a guy in a kilt. A nice, handsome broth of a boy in a kilt.
Are we allowed to ask?
Absolutely.
Whether with or without?
Well, to be honest, I don't really
Well,
mind.
without the kilt.
I don't really get that close.
You don't get that
No,
close.
but I just think it's a fabulous
So wasn't the
sight.
kilt invented by Queen Victoria? That was her idea. That
Yeah,
was
well,
a
she lived
Scottish
in Scotland a lot.
The
She lived in
She did
Balmoral a
actually
lot.
with...
The French
you are.
also lay claim to the kilt. Or
She lived in Scotland with
Is that
Billy
right,
Connolly,
John?
didn't she? I've seen the film.
Yes,
Excuse me.
yes, she lived with the colony.
John, did you actually read that, or is that a fact?
No, I think that is a fact, that Queen Victoria introduced the kilt. I think. I may be wrong, but I think that's right. Anybody agree with me?
No. The kilts go back.
No, they don't.
Hundreds
They
of
don't.
years before
I'll tell you
that.
something about the
No,
kilt.
no, please don't. Well, only if you're quick.
No, about the quilt. You go to Edinburgh.
No,
it's
quilt,
the
a kilt.
The kilt. The most amazing thing about the kilt, there's a shop on the high street in Edinburgh. You go in there, and no matter where you're from in the world, they'll find a kilt that matches you, which is an
There's
amazing
a
thing.
Carson quilt.
Everyone's Scottish.
There's
Well-
a Carson quilt, goes back to so-and-so, about 60 back, maybe 8,400 years. And there's a kilt for that as well.
Is there? Now, what are you having?
Wake
though?
me
What's-
up when it's
what's
over.
your Ireland? I'll let you when he stops. What's your chosen thing for Ireland, then? What's your...
For Ireland, the Integrated Education Fund, of which my son Tony just last year gave £100,000 for children in whatever religion, colour or creed you are. They send them all to the one school in Northern Ireland, which is the way we do here in the United Kingdom.
Right, well,
We
that's
should
fine,
do that
because when
in
we asked you
Belfast
earlier
and-
what you wanted to nominate for Northern Ireland, you said...
Northern Ireland, yeah, the Integrated
you said
Education
lasagna,
Fund.
so we've given you lasagna. So, Jackie,
That's what
you've
they
got...
serve for school
What are you having in
dinners.
Wales,
Oh,
then?
If I know we could just say something different from earlier, I'm going to plug the Cameo Club, which I go to all the time in Cardiff. But what I love most about Wales is half and half. We have half rice and half chips in our chip shops. And there's nothing I like more than Tony's Fish Bar, half rice, half chips, curry sauce with a Clark's pie on top. Favourite meal.
That's why your growth's stunted, you see. That's why you're short.
I'll tell you what, if you eat that, you'd think your ass had fainted.
I tell you, that's...
Sorry about that as well.
That's like when you go to Scotland. Have you had it in Edinburgh where they give you... when you have fish and chips, you don't get fish and chips. You don't get salt and vinegar. It's salt and brown sauce, isn't it?
Salt sauce.
Which is absolutely fantastic. Have you had
Well,
that?
I think the Jaguar
Really
car
nice.
I'm happy with.
Yeah, I think-
I'm
Can
happy
I-
with the kilt, that's
can I
good.
tell
I think
you
lasagna is rubbish.
One
No,
of
you
the
can't.
most revolting things of all time that comes from Scotland. They do Mars bars with butter on them.
Deep fried. I'm not going for
Hold
chips
on,
now.
excuse me,
Can
just
I just get mine in?
How about that? 3.5 stone off.
Really?
If you want to know how I done it, I'm available after the show.
Lasagna. Right. That's how it is. Ladies and gentlemen, if I'm allowed anything for England, I'm going to say farmland. Yes? Farmers. There we are. This is Great Britain. It's called Great Britain, not Rubbish Britain, by John Galt. My thanks to Jackie, Frank,
in that,
Kay
I'm in
and
that.
John. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, that's a first, isn't it? Yes. Well, this Tuesday afternoon, the band do back up Jonathan Ross. That's 4 puffs and a piano, if we can get Jack Carson out of the programme. Raymond Blanc cooks one of his family favourites, and there's another chance. Welcome back to Tuesday's AT show. Frank Carson's in the back with a cup of very black coffee. Still to come.